All right.
Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome to Erin Explains, the show where my friend Erin explains something to me because I'm a out-of-touch middle-aged man and she's a slightly less out-of-touch middle-aged woman. And so what are you explaining to me today?
Well, this week marks the season finale of the 12th season of the History Channel's hit reality show, Alone.
Yeah.
And you know that I'm more than a appreciator of this program. I'm a bit of a super fan.
Big fan.
Yes. And I know that my fandom of this show has been deeply confusing to you.
I've never understood it.
Yes. So that's what I'm going to explain today. I'm going to explain Alone.
Okay. Before we start, I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you know the Charles Dickens story, Christmas Carol?
Very familiar.
So something I've never understood about this story, and this might be something you could explain to me, is the character of Scrooge.
Okay.
He's this miserly figure, very wealthy.
Yes.
And yet, despite all that wealth, he refuses to like videos that he watches on YouTube. And I don't understand this, because it doesn't cost him anything, right?
No, it doesn't.
Not even his time. He's already watching the video. All he has to do is click the little button, and yet he refuses to. And it's a nightmare for him, people. It's an absolute horror show, what happens to the guy. Just because he wouldn't like a few videos. Anyways, can we explain how this show is on the History Channel? Like, does it take place in the 18th? Is this like old film?
No.
They were recording it?
No. I suppose
people lost in the woods.
If I were to pretend that I worked for the History Channel and I was in charge of giving an explanation of why it's on the History Channel, I would say because it's using, let's say, techniques that would have been existent in the past in order to allow people to survive in the wilderness. That would be what I would say.
Okay.
I think that's really loose, but I guess you could say that.
It's better than Garbage Pickers or whatever that show was called.
No, exactly.
Pawn Stars.
Exactly.
So that's a better answer than I've heard. Okay.
But it does have more in common, I will admit. It does have more in common with shows like Survivor and Naked and Afraid and than it does typical History Channel content.
Correct.
Yes, absolutely.
Like actual historical documentaries.
Exactly. I accept that. I accept that.
All right.
I accept that.
It's been 30 years since they had those on that channel.
Yes.
Beating a dead horse here.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the deal with Alone?
Okay, so Alone is a television show. It's been on for 12 seasons. What it is 10 contestants who are familiar with, have expertise in survival, bushcraft, etc.
Okay.
They're sent to a particular location. In the majority of cases, it's Canada. But they also have been in Mongolia and this season they're in South Africa for the first time. They also have been in Australia.
The heart of the white genocide.
Yes.
That is dangerous.
Well, they're not actually because they're in the middle of the wilderness.
Well, and there's no white genocide going on. I think that would be the headline.
That's the key point. Yes, right. But it also
they're nowhere near the genocide.
There's
might
also
not be the take you want to have.
There's also a number of international versions. So there's like Alone Australia. There's been Alone, So and there's been sort of different types of versions. But the reality is, you have people who are in the wilderness and they are surviving, but they also have camera equipment. So they are filming themselves while they are alone.
This just shot your whole being out in the wild with historical ways of surviving.
The cameras don't assist with their survival. It's simply recording it, and then the editors put it together.
Right.
You are allowed 10 objects. Okay. And the objects, there's some limitations on the objects. Like obviously you can't bring a gun, like there are certain things you can and can't do. There are certain types of for instance, a bow and arrow. You can bring certain types of bows depending on the restrictions of the particular area that you are.
Okay.
You can hunt certain things. They go by the hunting restrictions of specific
Wherever they
areas. Yes, exactly. And you can decide to bring, for instance, some people bring ferro rods, which are the fire starting rods.
Right.
Some people don't. Some people bring a pot. Some people you could bring a canteen.
Right.
Some people bring a sleeping bag. Other people don't. There's a range of different choices that people can make.
So you've got like basically a big list of things, and you have to pick 10 from them.
You pick 10, yes,
Okay.
and then you.
And that's all you have
That's it.
to survive.
Yes.
You have no food. You have no water. All of that stuff
All
you
of
have
that
to
stuff
get yourself.
you have to procure yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And so again, this has been going on for a number of seasons. I did write a long essay about Alone for the Walrus magazine, and I had the opportunity of interviewing people who were on Alone in season 9, which took place in Labrador, and that was the first time that a Canadian, Juan Quinones, who's from Manitoba, he won, and actually Temojin Tan from Montreal came third.
Okay.
Carrie Lee Noki, who was American, she came second. And I interviewed all 3 of them and talked to them about their experience. And the thing that was interesting is that they were very well aware of sort of the ridiculousness of this project.
Right.
They're very outdoorsy people,
Right.
but they recognize that this is a reality show and everything that goes along
Right.
with that. Yes.
See, that's the part, is why you would want to do this. Why, like, what level of delusion after 12 seasons and however many people almost dying.
Oh, no. Oh, God. Think I broke it?
You were watching this in season 12 going, I think I could do that.
Well, the thing that's interesting about it is that it's not the almost dying that's the interesting thing, or it even is what's going on here. What's interesting is how people lose and why people lose, and it is very rarely because of the fact that they can't get the food or the water or the shelter that they need.
So what is it?
It's loneliness. And so it's completely fascinating to watch.
These people have
this.
signed up for a show called
Yes.
Alone.
Yes. Yes.
And that's the one thing they haven't prepared for.
Exactly. Totally, exactly.
Okay.
And this idea.
So I'm not wrong with them being delusional when they're watching the show after 12 seasons and going, I could do that, and they're not really prepared.
But I don't think that anyone is really prepared for loneliness. And I think that that's why I like the show.
Okay.
Is that what it does is it really makes you think of how we as human beings connect to each other. And the other thing that I was lucky enough to be able to do when I was doing all this research into the program and why it is that I like how people lose rather than how people win, was I got to speak to Professor Robin Dunbar, who is an evolutionary psychologist. He's the man behind what is called Dunbar's number, which is 150, which is give or take 50, 100, etc. But around that number, that's the number of human connections that an average human brain can cognitively handle.
Right.
And he also looks at how human connections happen and how loneliness functions. And one of the things that was really interesting when I spoke to him is that he'd never seen the show at all. But he said, well, I think that the people who would be most likely to win would be the ones who engage in, sort of like telling themselves stories or getting involved in some kind of spirituality or making things. And he's totally right.
Right.
Every single person who has won Alone, they have had tremendous survival skills, yes.
Right. Of course you need to have that.
Which you need to have.
They all have to have that.
They all have that. But they were able to kind of figure out how to connect in some way. And you can see when they are losing that ability. And that's like the thing that I have to say I like to watch, is the moment someone starts talking about their family, the moment someone starts talking
they're
about,
already planning.
They're tapping
going
out.
home.
They're tapping out.
Right.
The moment people lean into fear, the moment people, they can't find a purpose. Temujin Tan, he devised this purpose that he was sort of doing it for his family, for his parents, kind of thing. But this is what he was doing it for. So then he had a mission. But you see other people who they think they have a mission, and then they realize that's not enough.
Right.
And they're out.
Okay, well, so that brings up, this is the littlest I know about this season.
Yes.
Was I saw some blurb, I don't know where it was, but it was one of the contestants, and he had made it deep into the show, but his father was dying of cancer?
Yes.
So I got to imagine, like, he's telling himself,
goodness.
whatever he's thinking of doing, I'm doing it for da-da-da-da-da.
Yes.
Then he's lonely.
Yes.
Then he's thinking, why did I do this? My dad's dying of cancer.
Exactly.
I got to get out of here. So he taps out and he goes, and his dad's already dead by the time he gets home.
Yes, it was devastating.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is what you like to watch.
It's not what I like to watch.
Watching
but-
these people
No, it's not what I
crumble.
like to watch. I think it's instructive. I think it shows us what it is that we appreciate about each other as human beings. That's what I think is interesting about the show, is that it advertises itself. And I read an article this morning saying that this season's show is the most difficult ever because it's all about dehydration, because they're in the desert and they have to be constantly thinking about drinking, and there were lots of tap outs right at the beginning, and that's all interesting to me.
Right.
But I do think that the big story of this season is just what you described, is this sense that people have that they're there to, demonstrate something or to create a story for themselves, or for their children or for their families. And that can only push them forward so much because they don't actually have access to their friends and families.
Right.
They're alone. And so anyways, I find that really quite fascinating.
Do the people who go into it because they're like, this is going to test me, this is the ultimate test of everything I know,
absolutely.
do those people tend to succeed?
Okay.
Because that's like
The fellow that I spoke to who won, Quinenez, he treated it as an Olympic event almost.
Okay.
Like he tried techniques before he went. For instance, he was able to understand how much he could starve himself.
My plan right now basically is to fast for 20 more days. Isn't that insane?
He was able to...
Well, this is when you said you can't prepare for alone. That's what like deprivation tanks are for.
He's the only person that...
Go camp for like a week on your own, like as prep.
Yes, but the thing is that very few people really understand what it is going to mean. And this is how you get a whole bunch of military people that do it, because they feel that they have been in deprived situations.
Right.
But the reality is, I don't know whether they put it together, but they're part of a wider structure, a wider social structure. They're never truly alone. Whereas what this contestant did is he has written a book about called Thrive. It's about being in the wilderness. You should link it below. And he, in his book, he talks about how, quote, nature is neutral, which I now think of all the time, is that it's not, nature isn't angry at you.
Correct.
Nature is a neutral force. We
Doesn't
are the
care
ones,
one way or
no,
another.
we are the ones that have the ability to change things.
Right.
Nature is there.
Yeah.
We're the ones that impact on it.
Right.
And this guy is someone who really sort of thinks about climate change. He thinks about, like the natural world and our relationship with it quite seriously. Okay. And so when he went into this, he knew that he was going to be alone. He knew that. Yeah. He is...
It's the name of the show.
Exactly,
they all know it.
Exactly. But he treated it like it was a sport.
Right.
He didn't treat it like it was, like a vision quest or some kind of thing. He didn't treat it like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I get it. It's a silly show. But at the same time, I find sometimes watching it that it's deeply emotive to see people really recognizing just how much they need other people.
Right. All right.
That explain it?
I guess that explains it. I'm still a little...
Oh, you don't know. Oh, God, think I broke it?
Highly recommend.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. You better like this video. See you next week.